Hey everyone, today I want to make another discussion video because I really liked the way my other video about the spectator and hardcore mode turned out. And today I want to talk about why the Nether roof is not something you can build on in Minecraft Bedrock Edition, and why you can in the Java Edition. So first of all, a little context. What is the Nether roof? Well, basically there is a roof of bedrock blocks that, well, separates the null part of the Nether to y coordinate 128. So starting from build limit 128, well, you actually cannot get there because, well, it is all covered up with bedrock. Now here in particular, we broke the bedrock using a particular, well, method of breaking bedrock, but you know, that is not intended, and yeah, keep that in mind for later. As you can see, I'm trying to, well, place down a grass block, and it simply doesn't work. You cannot build on the Nether roof in Minecraft Bedrock Edition. However, in the Java Edition you can, so let's quickly switch over to the Java Edition so that I can show you. So right now we are in the Java Edition, of course, and if I just go up and then break through the Nether roof, so we are on top of the Nether roof right now. Oops, I accidentally took some screenshots. We can try to build something, so let's try to place down some obsidian blocks, and it works. And, well, yeah, so that does not work on the Bedrock Edition, but it works perfectly fine on the Java Edition. And you might wonder, why is that? Is Mojang not pushing for parity, meaning that they're trying to bring both versions closer together? Isn't that a major issue? Well, let's discuss why. First of all, we need to get a few things out of the way. Minecraft Java Edition is, of course, the first edition to appear, so Minecraft Bedrock Edition came after Minecraft Java Edition. And, well, then there's the other question, why is the build limit 256 blocks in Minecraft Java Edition anyway? It actually is pretty simple. So you might know that in the overworld, the build limit is 256 blocks. And only in, well, the Nether, the generation starts at y0 and stops at y128, where the Nether roof stops. And, well, that is just a design choice. It makes more sense if the Nether is more narrow vertically, because it's meant to be a cave type, well, dimension, and it just looks better when it's less tall than the overworld can be. Now for the overworld, it makes sense that, well, the build limit is 256 blocks, because there can actually be mountains that generate fairly high, and in Minecraft Java Edition you can even, well, create amplified worlds, and those generate very high. So that makes a lot of sense, and, well, by design, for the Nether it's only meant to go up to 128 blocks. We can prove this fairly easily by the fact that the Nether roof is made out of bedrock. And of course, you're not supposed to be able to break bedrock. And, well, yeah, bedrock is supposed to be one of the blocks that are completely unbreakable. So, well, why should people be able to build on the Nether roof if the roof is only accessible through breaking bedrock, which is being continuously patched out, of course. Every update, there are new methods of bedrock breaking getting patched, etc. So yeah, why should you be able to build on the Nether roof? Obviously the answer is you shouldn't be able to. Then the question is, why can you do it on Java Edition? Why can you not do it on the Bedrock Edition? And why is it still on the Java Edition? Or why is it not being added to the Bedrock Edition? Well, the answer to why it still is on the Java Edition is pretty simple. So there have been a lot of oversights in gameplay development in the Java Edition. Of course, it was the first edition to be introduced to Minecraft. Before, well, it was called Java Edition, it was just called Minecraft after all. And, well, there are just a lot of mechanics that are now very important for, well, gameplay overall. And removing them would mean angering a lot of players, and overall it's just better for them to keep it instead of removing it, because, well, not a lot of people like change, and that one in particular, it's not very harmful. We can take quasi-connectivity for example. So you might know that pistons power a little weirdly, and not just pistons, blocks like droppers as well. And all of that came from the fact that they copied over code from doors. And, well, now pistons sort of power like doors, And well, of course, there's some quirky shenanigans with them not detecting block updates and forgetting and whatnot. I'm not really also good at that, but all that I know is that, well, it was an oversight, but nonetheless it is being kept in the game because it is insanely useful, and it is a great feature, and now tons of people make use of it. And removing it would be really problematic because, first of all, it would break a lot of builds, and well, it would just annoy players. The same can be said for the nether roof. So tons of people built their ice highways on the nether roof, etc. And well, if you were to limit that in, well, existing worlds, then that would be a very big problem, because people have already built stuff up there, and imagine if it suddenly all got deleted, or if they couldn't change anything there. That would be quite annoying, wouldn't it? And well, yeah, it would annoy a lot of players, so I believe that is why it is not being removed, because, well, removing it would be more harmful than keeping it. Then why is it not being added to Minecraft Bedrock Edition? Shouldn't there be parity between the versions? Well, that is an argument that is very commonly brought up, but there's a few reasons why that argument is invalid, and well, mostly the argument why this is not being added to Minecraft Bedrock Edition. First of all, consider this. With Minecraft Bedrock Edition being the second edition of Minecraft to be, well, properly developed, or, well, developed a lot differently than the others, because Legacy Console Edition was basically just Java Edition but ported, they were able to make a lot of core changes. And, well, because they didn't have the restriction of existing builds in people's worlds that could potentially annoy them if they were to break them, they could essentially just start off with a blank slate. And that's exactly what they did with Minecraft Bedrock Edition. Notably the redstone. You may know that redstone is completely different between Java Edition and Bedrock Edition, and that is intentional. You might think redstone is buggy, redstone is slow, whatever, but that is all intentional, and to some degree I actually agree with them. You can look at it this way with the nether roof. They are not going to remove it from the Java Edition because it would annoy existing players and, well, their existing worlds when stuff gets suddenly deleted up there. But that doesn't mean that they have to add it to the Bedrock Edition, because, well, there is no pre-existing worlds and pre-existing builds that would be completely deleted or broken if they were to do that. So yeah, that is why I think the nether roof limit is not being increased on the Bedrock Edition. Simply because, well, they don't have to add it to the Bedrock Edition just because the Java Edition has it, and especially that the community won't be angry if they, well, don't add it instead of when they remove it from the Java Edition. Now you might ask yourself, well, shouldn't there be parity between versions, because that is one major argument. And, well, that is actually something that I'm going to delve into next. So what you need to know about the parity that is being brought between the two versions, that being the Java Edition and the Bedrock Edition, is that it is not total parity. So total parity would assume that they're going to make the games identical, so they would be one-to-one, as in every build from one version would work in the other version. But that is not quite how it works, because Mojang is not aiming for total parity, but they are aiming for feature parity. And feature parity differentiates itself from total parity in a way that they're only bringing, well, let's say good things from one version to another version. Or, well, just features in general. Doesn't have to be good things. This has been proven in the past, by the way, because some very stupid quote-unquote features have been brought from Java Edition to Bedrock Edition, which overall just made things worse. And, well, this is the key part, because if we just consider the fact that we have a nether roof made out of bedrock, so it is very clearly bedrock, you're not supposed to break it, you're not supposed to get up there. Would you really consider building on the nether roof a feature? And quite simply, I would say no. It is not a feature, it is more or less just a, well, consequence that was left in the game, that is Java Edition, but for the reasons I described before, they don't have to add it to the Bedrock Edition. And, well, now especially not because of parity, because, well, they're doing feature parity, and this is not considered a feature. Now, I only partially agree with this. Notably, I agree with the part that it is not a feature, and that, well, it should not be considered as one, And yeah, that's pretty much all I agree with. Now let's look at the downsides of adding the Nether roof to Bedrock Edition. It would potentially add more incentive to exploit, well, Bedrock breaking and all that, but there's really nothing harmful you can do by building on the Nether roof. That's pretty much the only downside I can think of. Now let's think of the positives of increasing the build limit on the Nether roof, or well, just in the Nether. And, well, the first downside I can think of is that it is just a more enjoyable gameplay experience. So there's a lot of talk about Java Edition being superior to Bedrock Edition, and this is a major talking point of one of those. And think about it, would it really hurt that much to increase the build limit on the Nether dimension, or in the Nether dimension? I personally don't think so, and I don't think it is a major problem. Obviously, it would be more of a consistency issue, and the devs probably cannot justify adding it into the vanilla game. Next up, let's look at the downsides of decreasing the build limit in the Nether on the Java Edition. Of course, that would be a major problem, because tons of builds would just get deleted, or unusable, or invisible, or, well, many other things, and people would get very angry, and it is overall just not a good idea. And they have not removed such features in the past. I say features, but this really is more like an unintended feature, and well, there would really be no benefits to removing it on the Java Edition, I would say. I must say, I have to agree with, well, not being able to build on the Nether roof in the vanilla game, because, well, honestly, it just doesn't make any sense. There is a Nether roof, and, well, yeah. That Nether roof is made out of Bedrock. You're not supposed to get up there. But I have a few ideas on how you could still bring it into the game without having to do extensive modding. And my proposed solution for this is to make the build heights in all dimensions, not just the Nether dimension, data-driven. Now, what is data-driven? You may know that resource packs exist, and, well, resource packs can change a variety of things. There's also behavior packs, and those can also change a variety of things. Resource packs are mostly just visual and, well, aesthetical changes, whereas behavior packs can change a lot of in-game components. And, well, data-driven just means that a given component can be modified by a resource pack or a behavior pack. And when you think about it, there's something very similar in Java Edition. There are data packs. And in Minecraft Java Edition, the build limit was recently made, well, customizable. So if that is the case in the Java Edition, then why not just add it to the Bedrock Edition as well? Especially with the upcoming cave update, there are going to have to be some changes regarding build height limits and all that, so making it data-driven would be a great opportunity to, well, allow players to have, well, building on the Nether roof, while still keeping the vanilla game the way it is, and by that I mean not being able to build on the Nether roof. Now, of course, you have to consider that this would disable achievements on your world, but think about it, are achievements really that important? And, well, it also makes sense that you should not be able to build on the Nether roof, so that is one consistency issue that would not be respected if you would bring it to the vanilla game. However, I think making the build height data-driven is a great option for, well, allowing people to have building on the Nether roof, while still keeping the vanilla game consistent. By the way, you can modify the base game as it is right now to allow building on the Nether roof. And a friend of mine called Rufus Atticus is going to show you how to do so once he reaches 1,000 subscribers. And he's very close to doing that. Rufus Atticus is a very experienced coder, and, well, he's just a very smart person. I don't have to explain that too much. But, well, if you go over to his channel, link in the description, and you subscribe, then at 1,000 subscribers he will show how to modify the game to be able to build on the Nether roof. So go check him out. So these are my thoughts on the logic behind why the Nether roof still cannot be built on in the vanilla game. And when you think about it, the perfect opportunity to do so would have been in the Nether update, but obviously they didn't do that, so that pretty much confirms that they don't want to add it to the vanilla game. But having it added through a data-driven component, that being the build height, would be absolutely great. Furthermore, having it data-driven would also mean that map makers could have taller maps in the Nether dimension, and that of course is an added bonus. But that's about all I wanted to say. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you'd like more videos like this, then make sure to subscribe, and tell me in the comments if you enjoyed it or not. And maybe you can even suggest other topics that you would like covered, for example on why this is not in Bedrock Edition and whatever. But yeah, so that's about it, and I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll see you around. Bye!